Hello, my name is Alex Strout, and today I'd like to talk about a couple of AI projects that I've worked on in my spare time. The first of these will be foxBot, a AI companion bot for the indie fan game Sonic Robo Blast 2, written in Lua. And the second of these is a project called foxMod, which aims to upgrade the AI for Unreal Tournament 3 and also add 4-player split-screen support to the game, all written in the old Unreal script for Unreal Engine 3. And finally, I'll talk a little bit about an old project called 88 Flak, which is a mod for the 2000s game Freelancer that was actually mostly developed before I even knew how to program. But there are still some interesting concepts, I think, to talk about in it. And so, yeah, let's get started. So what is foxBot? Well, before we get into it, it's probably worth mentioning that the game actually features a native bot option in the form of a Sonic and Tails mode in single player, which, when played, allows a CPU-controlled Tails to follow you around, like in the old Genesis games. This bot is pretty basic. It just follows you, it jumps when you jump, but beyond that, it doesn't really do much else. It does have one special behavior, where when you move into it, a little up arrow appears, and you can have it fly you around, responding to your controls as it's carrying you. Now, foxBot itself is actually based off of an existing script called XAI by Shane Ellis, who also coincidentally did most of the game's soundtrack. And that mod allowed some independent behavior of moving around and actually attempting to attack targets. It's fairly basic, but fairly effective. Some characters also have special methods for attacking. For instance, one of the unlockable characters doesn't actually have a jump attack, but instead just shoots targets with a little pop gun. The other one attacks targets with a hammer. So this mod allowed the AI to use those actions as well. The mod even accounted for whacking the player with a hammer, which is kind of cute. So where does foxBot come into all this? Well, the main drawback with the native bot option, and thus the XAI mod, is that it's for single player only. So you are only allowed one player with one bot following. One of the main design goals of foxBot was to bring these systems to a multiplayer environment, allowing support for any combination of players and bots in a cooperative game. Another design goal of the bot was to allow the AI to perform any action that a real player would actually be able to perform. Rather, it's using the various character abilities available, the various item abilities through shields or otherwise, or even just collecting power-ups. I thought this was mostly important just as a means of pleasantly surprising the player with behaviors that they might not have expected the AI to be able to perform, and it also simply helps them, well, be more helpful. And finally, another design goal of the bot was to upgrade the movement. The game itself is a very momentum-based game, where as you move around you carry a lot of inertia, and have to counteract that with movement in the opposite direction. And this was mostly to allow the bot to follow the player better, but also be more effective at dispatching enemies as it's jumping on them. So let's dive down a little further into what's really going on here to make all this possible.